Good day, mathematicians. I believe you are well and you're safe. In this video, we are going to look at how to round a number off to the nearest tens, hundreds, and thousands, and even beyond, because the idea or the method remains the same. So it doesn't matter which number it's given to you, as long as it is a multiple of 10, we should be able to round it off. Let us kickstart. Remember our place value, where you learned about ones or units, then your tens, your hundreds, your thousands, tens of thousands, TTH, hundreds of thousands, HTH, then millions. We are going to apply the same idea in our rounding off. All right. So if we have the number 264, to round this to the nearest tens, let us start from there. We are rounding this number to the nearest tens. So on the place value, we know that the place value chart, we know this is our units, this is our tens, 6 is our tens. So before we get to the tens, I advise my learners or my scholars, place a line between that number, tens, and the next number, the units. All right, so we check the number 4, which is before the line that you have drawn here. If it is more than 5, less than 5, or equal to 5. If the number is more than 5, for example, if the number is 6, 7, 8, or 9, then we are going to round it up to 10, because we're rounding it to tens. All right. However, if the number is 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 0, let me include a 0 here, then you are going to round it down to 0. Got it? All right. So back to our work. 4, we know it's lesser than 5 or smaller than 5. Therefore, we're going to round down 4. So as soon as you place the line, you're checking the number before the line you've drawn. So 4 is less than 5. We're going to cross it out, replace it with a 0, and we are not going to add a 1 here because the 4, we are rounding it down to 0. All right. So our answer becomes 260. Got it? Great. What if we were to round the same number to the nearest tens, to the nearest hundreds, 264. We don't want to read the 60s. We don't want to read the fours, the units, and the tens. We want to read only in hundreds. So same idea. In place value, this is our units, this is our tens, this is our hundreds. Before we get to the hundreds, the question said we should round it off to the nearest hundreds. So before we get to the hundreds, you place the line between the tens and the hundreds. Now we are checking which number, the 6. Or before that, as soon as you place the line, you cross all the remaining numbers, you fill them with zeros. All right. Now our focus is on the number before the line. The number before the line. Remember, if the number is more than 5, we are going to round it up. If the number is less than 5, we round it down. So 6 is more than 5, we are going to round it up to 10, and we have 1 0 for 10 there. That's why I said cancel it and fill it with zeros. Another way you can also say this is that the number is 64, right? This is another method you can use. The number is 64. We are rounding it to the nearest hundreds. 64 is more than half of 100. Half of 100 is 50. So 64 is more than 50. Therefore, when we cross out 64, we are going to round it up to 100, which we have here, 100, 100. So the two ways you can use any one of them to get your answer. Either you are focusing only on the 6 here, or you're focusing on 64 as 2-digit number. You still get your answer. So our answer now is going to be, remember we placed the 1 on top of the 2, so we need to add them up to get 3. Then our zeros now. The mistake that most of the learners do is that they will add up 1 to 2 to get 3, but they still repeat the 6 and the 4, forgetting that we have rounded it up, so it needs to go off to become zeros. Get it? Got it? Great. One more example. Rounding to the nearest thousands. 4,729. This to the nearest thousands. So using the same approach, this is our units, this is our tens, our hundreds, and our thousands. Before we get to our thousands, we draw our line. As soon as you draw the line, all the remaining numbers needs to be replaced with a 0, right? Then we are checking or focusing on the only number before the line, which is a 7. It's 7 more than 5 or 7 is less than 5. We are all aware that 7 is more than 5. Therefore, we are going to add a 1 to this number. However, if the number was less than 5, you will still cancel it and fill in with zeros. However, you're not going to add a 1 on top here. Get it? Got it? Great. So our final answer becomes 5,000. 5,000. We don't want to read as 4,729. We are reading off in thousands as straight as 5,000. Get it? Got it? Great. Now let us look at an example of rounding to the nearest million. We have 8,432,961. So this number, it's 8,432,691 to the nearest million. So this is how you can handle this test, how you do handle your place value chart, how you've mastered it. If you're able to notice your ones, tens, hundreds, thousand, 10,000, 100,000, and million, then the work becomes easier. As long as you are aware that this is your, the 8 is your million, then between the 8 and the number to its right, you put a line in between them. Get it? Got it? Great. Now, as soon as you put the line, all the remaining numbers are going to fall off and be replaced with zeros. So 4, you put a 0 on top, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. All the numbers have been replaced with a 0. Our focus or our emphasis is now on the 4. Is it more than 5? Is it less than 5, or it is equal to 5? We know that 4 is less than 5. Therefore, we are not going to add a 1 to the 8. We leave it like that. If it was a 5, a 6, a 7, 8, or 9, then we were going to add 1 to the 8. However, if it is a 4 going down to 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, then when you cross 8, you don't add the 1 to the next number. Get it? Got it? Great. Another way you can also say this, I explained in the first example, is that you check the whole number. 432,961 is less than half of 500,000. Is less than half of a million. Remember, we are converting this to a million, right? So if the number is less than half of a million, then you round it down to zeros. If the number is more than half of a million, you round it up to 1 million. Get it? Got it? Great. Our final answer becomes 8 million as a straight number, like this. Great. Now I want you to try out the following. Round them off to the nearest to the nearest place values given. Pause the video and do the work. When you're done, release the video and come back for the revision. Please show integrity in doing the work. Have a nice day further. Bye.